Itoshi Sai is the new Gen 11 Prodigy Treasure of Japan. He got scouted by La Real, the best club in the world, got a reality check during his time in Spain. He changed his position from striker to midfielder. He crushed Rin and their dream to be the best strikers in the world. He came back to Japan to renew his passport. However, he heard a woman giving a speech creating the world's best striker, and he got intrigued by BlueLock's concept, and then decided to stay in Japan. He played against the BlueLockers in a deaf exhibition match in which he bagged a goal and an assist, but still lost because he lost the duel to his little brother, and his team lost the game because of that fact. Now he currently watches the NEL and hate watches Bunny Iglesias because he bagged the baddest bunny of them all. But all this could have changed with one switch up in events. What if Sae Itoshi stayed in Japan and didn't get scouted by any foreign country? This will be a multi-part series, so I hope you enjoy. So now what happens is if Sai will either go to the J League and go pro, which means he won't get an offer by BlueLock, or he can dominate high school with Rin. So if you guys are sticking around or you just don't have enough money to go get a membership, you are choosing the BlueLock version right now. So he would stick around with Rin, win the 2017 Nationals the year before Rin joins high school. They both would qualify for a Nationals the following year for 2018. They both would eat ice cream for a little celebration, and on their way home, a limousine splashes water on them. Sai kicks a football to the limousine with two people entering out, as a purple top knot is pulling the lazy white-haired person out of the limousine. Ryo would be pissed off that his limo got damaged. Ryo would be shocked to see Sae Itoshi in the flesh and say it's an honor to meet him, and he says he looks forward to be representing the Japan national team in the future with him. Sai would tell Ryo to tell his driver to drive better and not splash such filthy water on them again. Rin would say that what my big brother says. Rin nearly drops his ice cream, but Nagi traps it and sends it to Rin, surprising Rin. Nagi would ask Ryo if he can drop him home yet, and he says let's not waste any more time with them as he just wants to go to bed. Ryo would let them off the hook and say when Sai becomes rich, he will be coming for that insurance paycheck. Rin and Sai would return home to see their parents having two letters for them. Both of them would be invited to the BlueLock program. I'm going to rely on Akira's Stratum predictions video for this video. Now here we go. Sai and Rin enter the building and listen to Ego's speech. They would both see Isagi move first into entering the place. That would excite Rin as he follows his instincts and goes in with the crowd. Sai would stay and just wait till the majority of the crowd was gone before entering, as he didn't want any lukewarm people to touch him. Ego would give a death stare to Sai that would gross him out as they cross paths for the first time ever. When they get to outside the room, they will meet Anri, and Anri will give Sai the number 221 and give Rin the number 223. They would both enter their rooms to meet their teammates glazing another person, one isolated just playing with cards. Rin would ask Sai who is the other guy, the one in the middle. Sai would respond and tell Rin he supposedly called Ayomori's Ronaldo Suru Asuma. He was part of the team that faced me, but I bullied them 4-1 in the Nationals finals. Everyone would turn around to see Sai, who steals the attention from Suru, who gets pissed off that Sai, the one who stole Nationals from him, was the one who stole all the attention from him just again. Everyone besides Suru and the card guy would be in awe as Sai, who was recently being scouted for the U18, even the U20 Japan national team, was in their presence. The card guy would come up and introduce himself as Reiji Hiragi and ask Rin to pick a card. Rin would comply and pick a card, being the moon. Hiragi would say his card is called the moon, as it means when we encounter the moon, we see a path that leads off into the distance. On either side of the path stand a wolf and a dog, representing our animalistic nature. One is civilized and the other wild and feral. There is a crawfish that is crawling out of the pond from which the path stems from. In the distance, we can see two towers flanking the central path, once again alluding to the doubles visible in the card. Everything in this card seems to echo the other, as if allude to two possibilities. When we walk down the path, we walk the fine line between conscious and unconscious, between the tamed side of civilization of the dog and the forces of the nature represented by the wolf. The towers of the opposing ends represent the forces of good and evil, and their similarity in appearance can allude to the difficulties that we face in distinguishing between them. He would offer one to Sai, but Sai would refuse to touch his card, Oh yeah, the reason why he actually has cards instead of the tarot app is because this is the beginning of BlueLock, which means he doesn't have his phone yet. He would look at Sai's card and call it the Emperor. Ego would come on the monitor and say, "Are you done changing, you lamps of talent? The others in your room aren't just your teammates, you know. They're your rivals too. You will push each other to greater heights. At the end of the journey, only the top 5 will unconditionally be registered for the U20 World Cup happening in 6 months from now. Those who fail here will forever lose the right to represent Japan. Now it's time for some tag." The time limit is 136 seconds. If you get hit by the ball, you're it. And for those who are dumb and don't participate in math class, that is 2 minutes and 16 seconds. The ball hits you, you go home, never represent our country again. So a random player will be it, and he would be struggling to hit anyone, and then that's how it goes. So yeah, a random player would be hit, struggling to hit anyone until 1 minute is left. The ball would miss Rin and Sai. The ball would miss Rin, and Rin would tell Sai that was close. Sai would tell him to duck, but Rin would be confused as the ball would deflect from the other part of the wall and hit Rin in the face. Rin would struggle to hit anyone for 30 seconds while Sai ponders on Ego's words about egoism and gets an idea. Sai would steal the ball, shocking Rin. Sai would say, "Remember your hunger, Rin, and get ready. I'm about to send it to the bad area." With 10 seconds left on the clock, Rin would get behind Suru. Sai would say, "That's right, Rin. Get behind him. Get behind the strongest. If we are gonna become the best, we have to crush the biggest walls in our way and lay our dominance." Sai would send a high ball to Rin, who receives it and sends a full force direct shot to Suru's face. After that moment, Suru would get pissed off why he was being targeted, that the 3 of them could have been the strongest trio in BlueLock, and realize time is up. Sai would respond and say it doesn't matter who is on his team as long as he can manipulate anyone to his image and his best desires. He would end off saying, "In life, to be the best, you have to be the best." Ego would come on the monitor and tell Suru to lock off. Suru would tell the Itoshi boss that they would regret the day that they lived. He would rush Sai, trying to attack him, but Ego would use a shocker to shock him out cold. Before some staff would carry him out of there, Ego would say he liked the egoism he saw from Rin and Sai, and he would then tell them to have a good night as tomorrow they would play against Team Y. Before they go to bed, Hiragi would walk over to Rin and tell him that this is BlueLock. He better grow a pair and stop relying on his big brother. This would start the first trigger event of Hiragi trying to bring Rin to the dark side. In the morning, they would wake up and Team X versus Team Z would have just ended, with Yuzu Harihiko being the hat-trick king for his team. Team V would get ready to deal with Team Y. They would enter the stage. Rin would pass the ball to Sai, who would dribble past a few random defenders and try to pass to Rin. But one of his teammates would steal the ball, annoying Sai. He would then get dispossessed by another player. This would keep happening until Sakura would jump to receive the ball and attempt to pass it to Haiji, but Hiragi would catch the ball instead and score the first goal for Team V. Sai would tell Rin to just focus on the bad area and he would make sure this team submits to his will. Haiji would start using his unorthodox dribbling style to sway his hips like an American footballer and just wait for his opponents to get off balance, being Rin, before slipping past him like a phantom ghost. He would slip through more players before Sai tries to tackle him, but then he sends the ball to Sakura Tetsu, who uses his all-rounder iron body to boost through Hiragi to score the equalizer for Team Y. Sai would tell Rin it's time to start putting in some effort. Sai would start dribbling through everyone like they were twigs. Rin would be surrounded by 2 defenders. Team Y would start basing their attacks around Haiji and Sakura, and Team V would do the same around Hiraki and Sai, the 2 people who were the clinical pieces for their first goal. Sai would just send a fake pass to Rin, but uses that to trick the defender and takes the shot himself, making the score 2-1. Rin would be upset that Sai used him as bait, but Sai would just simply tell him that he shouldn't just wait for his goal, but instead work for it. This is a new stage. The old formula they ran won't work forever. Sai would tell Rin that to also put more effort in his presses as well. Haiji would attempt to dribble past Rin, but he would keep his distance so he could understand how to stop him. Rin would catch onto him when he is about to make a roulette and pass it to Sai, who dribbles through some defenders and passes it to Rin, who works with Sai to build up the tempo and gets himself his first goal. Sai would tell Rin good job, but request him to pick up the pace a bit. We would cut to the end of the match where it's 7-1, Sai and Rin both ending off with a hat-trick, and Rin would stick out his tongue to Hiragi and walk over to his brother, letting Hiragi know he ain't joining him. Sai would earn a pork cutlet meal and Rin would earn a hamburger steak. They would have a break day as Team W would be playing against Team X and Team Z would be playing against Team Y. Team X would win their second game as they would win 4-1 with Yuzu scoring another hat-trick. Meanwhile, in the other game, it would end 5-0. So right now, Team X would be in first with 6 points, Team V in second with 3 points, Team Y in third with 3 points, Team W in fourth, and Team Z in last. Sai and Rin would go mental by destroying Team W 8-0, and Team Y would destroy Team X 2-1. On their next match, they would find out Yuzu Haruhiko was a twin that was shadowing his brother. Rin would relate himself to the younger twin named Uzui Haruhiko. The game would start and they would use their twin synchronizing skills to get past Sai and Hiragi. And then Rin would try to stop him, but it would be too much for him as well. They would get past all the defenders to score 1-0 in their favor. Sai would be upset by having the goal conceded again, and he would dribble through 3 defenders by himself and then gets to the 36-yard part of the field and shoots for a wild shot to equalize the game 1-1. Sai and Rin would put all they have into destroying the twins and end the game 6-2, with the Itoshi bros both bagging a hat-trick, and against Team Z, they would whoop them 14-0 to end off the first selection. Team Y would have second place with 9 points, Team X would have the sole survivor Yuzu Haruhiko, and the sole survivor for Team W would be Karu Saramadara, and a random for Team Z. They would go through 10 days of hellish training before finally being summoned for the second selection. Hiragi would have a word with Rin for the last time, trying to warn him if Rin someday doesn't match Sai's expectation, he would disown him in no time, as that's what he kind of did to him with that first goal, since Sai wasn't locked in at the time. He would also tell Rin those were Sai's exact words when he eliminated Tsuru. Now, will he accept the offer to join the Dark Angel in the second selection or choose his brother? Choose on the YouTube poll that should be up right now. You have the power to control the events of part 2 of What If Itoshi Sai joined BlueLock. Now stay blessed, Suki out. Also, 50 likes for part 2 would be very kind and necessary. Please and love. Bye.